Codemasters' popular F1 series returns with F1 22. Things are somewhat different this year, with Electronic Arts acquiring the developer and EA Sports serving as the publisher. With the Formula 1 racing sim coming to Xbox One, Xbox X and Series S, PS4, PS5 and PC on July 1st, what are some of the biggest changes? Let's break them all down here. New car models and rules. F1 22 brings new car models, updated physics, and new rules, mirroring the real-world 2022 Formula 1 World Championship. Ground effects have been reintroduced. New tire regulations see tire size going from 13 to 18 inches. The temperatures to heat the front and back tires have dropped to 70 degrees Celsius. Changes to aerodynamics, restrictions to the number of aerodynamic upgrades over a race weekend and the course of a championship, and standardized components are some of the other changes. Gameplay-wise, Codemasters had to re-examine aerodynamics from previous titles, ensuring that downforce from ground effects under the car is accurate. Since the vehicles are now lower to the ground, they reach bump stops sooner, making curb ridings tougher to pull off. Overall, a new experience for the players and Codemasters, so it should be intriguing to see how it plays out. The developer has yet to discuss how the new weekend format, which reduces the previous 4-day race weekend to 3 days, compulsory practice outings for rookie drivers in the first Friday practice sessions, specifically those who have started 2 or fewer Grand Prix, and other rule changes factor into the game. So we'll need to wait for more details in the meantime. 20 drivers and 10 teams. For this new season, there are 10 teams to choose from, including Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 Team, Alfa Romeo F1 Team Orlen, Scuderia Ferrari, and Oracle Red Bull Racing. In total, there are 20 drivers with renowned names such as Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, and Charles Leclerc, who is also the cover star, and they all look amazing. Career Mode. Breaking Point is gone, but Career Mode is thankfully still here. Taking place over 10 years, you'll work your way up and look to make a mark in Formula 1 racing. A variety of changes have been made, like the implementation of department events and sprint races, with the sprint qualifying format available in Imola, Brazil, and the Australian Grand Prix for career players, though they can also be enjoyed in singular races and Grand Prix mode. The iconic pair of Anthony Davidson and David Croft returns, but can also be replaced with F1 TV pro commentator Alex Jacques, or Sky Sports pit plane reporter Natalie Pinkham. Racing engineer Jeff is also gone, replaced by Mark Priestley, with a real Formula 1 headset to record his audio. New and returning tracks. Several tracks from previous years like Imola, Silverstone, and Red Bull Ring in Austria, and Baku City Circuit are returning in F1 22. The newest addition is the Miami International Autodrome in Hard Rock Stadium with 3 drag reduction systems or DRS sections. Codemasters has yet to outline the full selection of tracks available. Last year's edition had 21 tracks, not including DLC, but it has confirmed changes to select tracks. Track updates. Essentially, Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya in Spain, Albert Park in Australia, and Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi are updated to match their real-world versions. Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya features updated off-track areas in turns 10 to 14, while turn 10 has a brand new layout. Yas Marina Circuit moves the turn 5 hairpin and removes the chicane. Albert Park Circuit features repositioned outfield area walls, several updated turn layouts, and more detailed height and camber thanks to LiDAR data. Renovations to Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium sadly won't be implemented by launch, but creative director Lee Mather told racefans.net that it wasn't entirely ruled out for a future update. New race day options. Throughout F1 22, you have more freedom with the presentation. Take formation laps and pit stops. You can either drive through them with the immersive setting or use the presentation setting to let the AI do the work as you listen to the commentary. You can also time your pit stops with the button press. Depending on the timing, pit time can be shorter or longer. My Team Career Mode changes. In addition to pit stops, sprint races, formation laps, and safety car periods, My Team has several new additions this year. department events return, providing several different outcomes, and also apply to regular career mode over a season. An option for your team to start as true underdogs at the very back of the field with little money and resources is available. Of course, you can also choose a team in the middle of the pack or put a champion caliber team with an extensive budget and infrastructure. Another interesting new feature is crew errors. Depending on your team management and the outcome of the department events, crew performance may be affected. Adaptive AI and simulation settings. Another new feature is adaptive AI, intended to help less experienced players stay competitive. There are 3 race styles: casual, standard, and expert. Casual, as the name implies, provides an easy driving experience. Standard aims for a more authentic F1 experience but still offers options to tweak. Expert offers the widest range of settings for the most customizable F1 experience possible. To specifically tweak adaptive AI, you can go into the simulation settings and increase its strength from a scale of 1 to 100, with 20 to 39 considerably easy. You can also switch adaptive AI off, customize the surface type, car damage, rate of car damage, collisions, low fuel mode, and more. Want to have unlimited flashbacks and adjust settings for tire temperature? Have at it. F1 Life. F1 Life is the newest addition this year and a first for the franchise. It provides a dedicated location where players start the game. Friends playing the game also appear in the multiplayer lobby. You'll see other players also hanging around. As for what you can personalize and showcase, there are trophies, the new supercars which can be taken for a spin in hot laps, clothing, accessories, and more. Think of it as showcasing the more glamorous side of being a Formula 1 driver. Unfortunately, this means that classic F1 cars won't be returning. Dual entitlement. Sick of dual entitlement in the FIFA and Madden series? F1 22 also supports it because EA. Dual entitlement allows for upgrading the PS4 or Xbox One versions to the PS5 or Xbox Series X or S versions at no additional cost. But there is a catch. Read an actual cost. You need to purchase the Champions Edition for $80. This provided access to both the PS4 and PS5 or Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S versions, with the ability to switch back and forth between different generations. Early access. If you can't wait to get your hands on F1 22, then the Champions Edition provides another benefit: early access to the full game on June 28th, 3 days before the worldwide launch. The Champions Edition also includes the F1 Starter Pack, 18,000 Pitcoin, my new team icons, and the F1 22 New Era Content Pack for $80. System requirements. Even with the addition of ray tracing in this year's edition, the PC requirements for F1 22 are manageable. An Intel Core i3-2130 or AMD FX 4300 with 8GB of RAM, and an NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti or AMD RX 470 is required at a minimum. For ray tracing at these settings, you'll need a GeForce RTX 2060 or a Radeon RX 6700 XT. Recommended requirements include a Core i5-9600K or AMD Ryzen 5 2600X, 16GB of RAM, and a GTX 1660 Ti or AMD RX 590. Ray tracing requires an RTX 3070 or a Radeon RX 6800 at these settings. In both cases, installation requires 80GB of available space. VR support. For the first time in the series, F1 22 will introduce VR support for PC. HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, and Valve Index are all supported. It will be available for F1, F2, and F1 Life's supercars with the player able to start from the garage. See their team working and admire the environment detail from a whole new perspective. As for the experience of playing in VR, creative director Lee Mather told us, "We've spoken with drivers on so many occasions about how it all feels relatively calm to them, and it's not as hectic as you'd think. 200 miles per hour becomes the norm, and time almost slows down. The player will feel what that's like." They'll be able to admire the amazing detail within the cockpit and feel the scale of the circuit surroundings and elevation changes. Also though, there are no immediate plans to support PlayStation VR, Mather says, to never say never. 4K Ultra HD, 60 FPS, 120 FPS on Xbox Series X. F122 targets 4K resolution and 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X and PS5. Interestingly, the Xbox Store listing notes 120 FPS as a feature. Perhaps the team will implement a higher frame rate option for those with compatible TVs. Time will tell. Good news for PS5 players though, DualSense support is confirmed with haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, and the controller speakers supported. This includes enhanced collision and surface feel, increased resistance to the brake trigger when the car locks up, or the race engineer offering information through the speakers. Split screen and multiplayer support. In terms of multiplayer offerings, players can expect split screen for 2 players in online multiplayer. Specific changes and new additions for the latter have yet to be fully detailed, but you can expect cross-gen multiplayer support for Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S players along with PS4 and PS5 players. Support for cross-platform multiplayer for 2-player career mode and online social races will arrive in a post-launch update. Did you know? We at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day. Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.